This is Real Estate Radio, presented by Erik Hatch of Adams Development Corporation. The Erik Hatch team is highly motivated, innovative, and knowledgeable for all things real estate. This is Real Estate Radio.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, frozen Bison fans, and people celebrating the new year. What an exciting start to our new year it's been. Happy 2014, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to Real Estate Radio. I'm your host, Erik Hatch of Adams Development Corporation. You can always find us at 501 40th Street South in Fargo. And I want to say happy 2014. A couple of days ago, here's what we saw. And I think this is going to set the tone for what's happening with the real estate market this year. As of January 1st, that day, we saw 4 new listings come out. It's a little light. It's certainly a holiday, so I don't expect many people to be listing their homes on a holiday. But on January 1st, we listed 4 homes. In a steady market for us, we see 15 to 20 homes listed in a day. But here's the catch. I saw 162 listings expire. That's land, that's residential, that's commercial. I saw 162 listings expire, which means all of a sudden our inventory is absolutely depleted. There's hardly anything out there for buyers to find and to purchase. Now, some of you may be listening and you may own a property, and I hope here's what you hear. Erik is shouting at you right now, screaming to you, saying, list your house, because if you list your house, we're going to sell it. We're going to sell it for top dollar, and it's going to not take as long as what you would maybe expect. That's the real estate market we're in at the beginning of 2014. I expect it to continue, but we have a packed show for you with advice for this new year. We have our friend Brian Johnson from Valley Mortgage in studio with us, who's going to give us some really great tips, and we're going to look back on 2013 and also see what 2014 has to bring. And of course, picks of the week and a few final thoughts. So please stay tuned, grab a pen, grab a piece of paper, write down some information, because here it comes. 369-4839 is how you get in contact with us. Again, 369-4839, or as always, you can head to livefargomoorhead.com for all your real estate needs. But first things first, let's check out what's happening in real estate news this week.
Americans chose late-night TV host Jimmy Fallon as the most desirable celebrity neighbor for 2014, according to the recently released 7th Annual Zillow Celebrity Neighbor Survey. Fallon nabbed 11% of the vote, dethroning last year's most desirable neighbor duo, Miranda Lambert and Blake Shelton. In order to be Fallon's neighbor, you'd have to move to Saginaw, New York, where Fallon owns a 19th century farmhouse that sits on more than 2 acres. After Fallon, the survey found the most desirable celebrity neighbors are Miranda Lambert and Blake Shelton, Jennifer Lawrence, Sofia Vergara, Robin Roberts, and LeBron James. On the other hand, topping the list of worst neighbors for this year, reality star Kim Kardashian and singer Kanye West, according to the survey. The couple beat out the cast of Here Comes Honey Boo Boo, Justin Bieber, Miley Cyrus, Lady Gaga, and Alexander Rodriguez as worst neighbors. And that's what's making real estate news this week. You're listening to Erik Hatch with Real Estate Radio.
Breaking in, shaping up. As promised, in studio with us from Valley Mortgage is my good friend, Mr. Brian Johnson. So good morning, Brian.
Good morning, Erik. Thank you for having me.
You bet. How was your New Year's?
It was great.
What'd you do?
We just kind of hung low and played with the kids. It was great.
Okay, the life of a parent is very different than the life of a single person. By the way, in studio with us, our production guy, Dan Gunderson, is no longer single. He put a ring on it this last week. So that's really exciting. Dan, congratulations. He's now snickering. But we're not going to talk about Dan's new engagement, at least right now. Instead, we're going to talk about what we saw in 2013 and maybe what we're going to see in 2014. So, Brian, you're in the mortgage lending world. What in the world does that mean, first of all?
Well, we provide financing for home buyers to purchase new homes.
Okay.
We do all ranges of financing, conventional, VA, rural development, FHA loans, first-time home buyer loans, as well as jumbo loans.
Okay, and so because you work in the mortgage lending world, you also deal with refinancing?
We do, yes. And there was quite a drop-off of that this past year with interest rates going up midway through the year.
So, and that's something I wanted to lead into, and you already did a dynamic job of doing that. You said interest rates went up. What did we start at? What did we end at? What did we see in 2013?
About a year ago, interest rates were in the low 3% range for 30-year fixed. 15-year fixed were in the low 2% range.
Have we ever, in the history of mortgage lending, ever seen rates that low?
I believe that's the lowest ever. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then in the spring, the interest rates started to go up a little bit. Really in May, mid-May is when they kind of jumped up. And really the cause of that was the Fed has been buying mortgage-backed securities for the last, I think, 2.5 years or so. And there was indication that the economy was starting to get better and they were going to taper back some of those purchases. So interest rates immediately jumped about 1%, 1.5%.
That's a huge jump, right?
It is.
For somebody who has $150,000-$160,000 house, if they were going to purchase in April as opposed to June, what kind of payment difference is that for them?
It's about $100 to $150 a month, depending on the loan size.
That's a lot of cash.
It is.
Yeah.
One thing that offset that a little bit is about that same time, Cass County or the state of North Dakota indicated that property taxes were going to go down about 20%. So that did offset that interest rate jump a little bit.
Yeah, I know we've talked about that on air before, Brian. Again, Brian Johnson with Valley Mortgage in studio with us. And as we talked about that, we found out some really interesting things that for most buyers who live in North Dakota, it was a wash, right?
Correct.
And when I say a wash, certainly it could be $40 in one direction either way, but that lowering of property taxes ended up saving some of our market. Is that a fair assessment?
It is. Yep. It made a big difference for some people.
What did we see then in Moorhead and in Clay County and in things in Minnesota? Did we see much of a change in the market?
No, not at all.
Which is shocking. Because we just said, it helps save the lower property taxes help to save part of our market, but we actually saw a resurgence in 2013 of properties in Minnesota and Moorhead. There's some new construction going on again. We're seeing a lot of resales, houses that have previously been lived in, and we're seeing a really nice Minnesota market right now, which is the first time in probably 3 or 4 years that we've seen strength over there. So
yeah, but I noticed that too real quick. I sold my house in March of this year, 2013 rather, and things were kind of taking off quite a bit at that time.
And you lived in Moorhead, right?
Right. Yeah.
And so you ended up having competing offers on your place, didn't you?
We ended up, yeah. We were 4 months on the market, and then all of a sudden, the market in Moorhead just kind of popped. So
it's the law of attraction, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So we saw 2013. Do you have any idea? And you probably don't, so I'm going to see where you're at. But in 2013, what % of sales did we increase over 2012?
That would be a better question for you.
You're right. And our new statistics just came out. It's just over 10%.
Oh, wow.
Which is a lot of houses.
That is.
Because we see less listings and more sales. So again, I talked about it at the top of the hour. Those who want to sell their house right now, there has never been a better time, I don't think, because we have buyers who still have pretty affordable interest rates. I know you can't tell us the exact interest rate because that changes by the hour and by the day, but what approximately are we at right now?
30-year fixed around mid 4% range, 20-year low to mid 4% range, and 15-year in the mid 3% range. So rates are still very attractive.
Right. Historically, what's the national average for rates?
Oh, I think if you're at 7 or 8% is about the average.
So we're still dealing with an absolutely prime interest rate, even in the mid 4s.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. So what's 2014 going to bring, Brian?
I think early on in this year, I think rates are going to stay fairly flat where we're at. There's talk about second and third quarter they'll start to increase. We'll probably see things closer to 5% range, and maybe late in the year even over 5.25%.
What do you think's going to do, or what's going to happen to the real estate market when those rates go up?
In our area, I really don't think that's going to have too much of an effect on it. There's still a lot of adjustable rate options with low interest rates that I think those will come back a little bit too.
Really?
Yeah.
So you think it's called an ARM, an adjustable rate mortgage. What is that for the listening audience?
Well, they're fixed for a period of time, either 5, 7, or now there's even a 10-year ARM where your mortgage is fixed for 10 years at a lower interest rate, and then it can adjust after that. But there are caps on it, so they can't jump up 10% after that.
Sure. So, Brian, if the listening audience wants to get in touch with you, if they want to talk about refinancing or if they want to talk about purchasing a home, how do they get in touch with you?
Call my office at 461-8450 or visit us on the web at valleymortgageinc.com.
Brian Johnson with Valley Mortgage. Thanks as always. Stick around, listening audience. We'll have some exciting tips and trends for 2014. We'll talk about the featured picks of the week and a few final thoughts. This is Real Estate Radio with Erik Hatch.
Stick around. More Real Estate Radio with Erik Hatch after this.
Don't survive. I was born free.
This is Real Estate Radio, presented by Erik Hatch of Adams Development Corporation. The Erik Hatch team is highly motivated, innovative, and knowledgeable for all things real estate. This is Real Estate Radio.
Welcome back to Real Estate Radio. As always, I'm your host, Erik Hatch, and it's time now for the Erik Hatch team's picks of the week here on Real Estate Radio. Each week we take a look at those picks that you just don't want to miss out on. These are screaming deals. And boy, I have to tell you a quick story before we dive in. A new client of mine, her name's Linda, listens to us on the radio, called me up and said, Erik, I want you to list our house, and we want it sold in a month or less. And I said, well, we're going to do everything we can to get your house sold. And wouldn't you know, on New Year's Eve, just before the clock struck 12, we got an offer on her house, have it wrapped up in less than a month. And so we have some raving fans out there, and yours could be next. But if you want to follow along with us, go to livefargomorehead.com. Take a look at all of our listings that are online, because we're going to fire these at you. First and foremost, let's start off in North Fargo, 505 22nd Avenue North. You're talking right in the heart of Hornbachers and schools, and you're so close to interstate access and Fargo Dome and everything you're going to need. For $135,000, this house is a perfect deal. 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, fully fenced yard, and a 3-season porch that will totally wow you. Again, don't miss out on this one. 505 22nd Avenue North. Down in South Fargo, I have 2 homes in the historic South Fargo district. First one is at 1621 7th Street South. 1621 7th Street South, priced at $385,000. I want you to picture this. A log cabin mixed with a resort, mixed with an old character home. Boy, this house, and the owners have put together such a fabulous package on this. Priced at $385,000, you'd say, well, what's the size of the house? It's over 2,600 square feet, which is a huge house as a 2-story. And then you're also going to say, wow, they put in over $100,000 in updates on this place. Nothing nicer on the market in that area right now, I believe. But if you go 2 blocks over, if you want something that's a fraction of the cost and still some of the great character, you can find it at 1441 9th Street South in Fargo. For $160,000, we can get you a 100-year-old house in the most historic district in town. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and this place is so wonderfully done. Everything you're going to be looking for $160K, you can find with this house. Now, let's continue along up in North Fargo again, 2505 Elm Street North. For $230,000, we have this gorgeous 4-level split. Action on all 4 levels, including a newly finished 4th level. You can't find more house for the buck in North Fargo in the well-chosen, well-desired Longfellow district. Then finally, over in Moorhead, I have 2 houses for you in 1926 20th Avenue South. Just hit the market at $133,000. 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and it is a perfect deal for you. Finally, 701 41st Avenue South in Moorhead, for $340,000. This Rambler is about the biggest and best house you can get in Moorhead for the buck. So check out all these properties at livefargomorehead.com. Or if you want your own home featured, please get in contact with us, 369-4839. Everybody seems to be talking about the new year, and so I'm not going to shy away from that. When we see January 1st roll around, everybody thinks of it as this new beginning, this new chance. And with real estate, I believe it could be that same thing for you. So I first want to speak to you who are considering buying a house. We heard from Brian Johnson a minute ago that interest rates are going up. And as interest rates go up, it's going to become harder and harder for you to get into an affordable house. Now, I know the rental market in town, and the rental market is pretty prime. There are a ton of people who own properties, including apartments, that are able to capitalize on top dollar things. But for most of you, if you're renting a nice 2-bedroom apartment, that's going to cost you anywhere from $700 to $1,200. And I can get you into a 2-bedroom house, fully financed for, probably $500 or $600 a month. And you'd own it, including paying down your mortgage and building equity. And of course, these numbers fluctuate with each individual property, but here's the overall point that I'm trying to make is if you are looking to buy a house, it's going to be far cheaper than rent most of the time. Yes, it comes with more responsibilities, but if money is important to you, if you care about your finances, buying is traditionally a better option than renting. Now, let's talk about those of you that are thinking about selling your house. I talked about it at the top of the hour that we are basically running out of inventory right now. People are clawing to get their house sold, and what we can do with the Erik Hatch team is we can take your listing, we can market it to the masses, and we can also focus in on people who are just looking specifically for your property. And when we do that, we can probably maximize your dollars in pocket, and we can minimize your time on market, which is really important. But here's what I think we're going to see is a lot of people wait until spring. It's the old adage of, I want to wait until spring to put my house on the market. So let's break that down. Let's say you list your house in April, which isn't a bad idea. If you list your house in April, currently the days on market are between 50 and 60. So that means for the month of April and the month of May, your house is going to sit on the market. So that means now at the end of May, you finally get an offer on your place that's accepted. It's going to take another 30 to 60 days to close. So now the month of June and the month of July have gone by. And now at the end of July, you finally close on your place. And so listing in April means that you could sell in July and be done with it. So think of that timeline, because if you want to move in spring, I'd say now is the time to get your house on the market, which is a great opportunity. If you put your house on the market right now, you can expect to move in March or April or May. And guess what? I'm hoping that it's not below zero at that time and that there's not snow on the ground. But even so, I'd rather spend my days inside packing when it's cold and outside enjoying the summer weather. So with 2014 upon us, we're going to see some great things in this real estate market. I believe it's going to continue to be strong, and you need to make sure with whatever you do that you hire the right realtor to fully represent you. There's no bigger risk of doing anything in the real estate market than going at it on your own. So please contact the Erik Hatch team at 369-4839 or head to livefargomorehead.com. We are almost out of time. I can't wait to tell you what's coming up. First is this. If you are a hero, that means if you're somebody who does good in this community, are you a teacher or an educator? Are you a firefighter, police officer? Are you a veteran or currently serving in the military? Do you work in the medical field? Are you clergy? Are you a social worker? Anything along those lines. If we believe that you're serving our community, we're going to save you between $500 and $1,000 on each side of your real estate transaction. If you buy and sell with us, we can save you up to $2,000. That's some serious cash in your pocket simply by working with the Erik Hatch team. And the reason why we do that is because we just want to say thanks for those of you who are doing good in this community. We care a lot about this place, and if we can give back in any sort of way, we certainly want to. And the final thought I have is this. I've screamed it from the top of the hour until now, and I'm going to continue to do so. If you're thinking about selling your house, the time is now. We can get you primed, ready to go, and keep the hassle off your shoulders while filling your pockets with money and saving you a slew of time. All you need to do is contact the Erik Hatch team. So one final time, if you haven't written it down yet, please do so. 369-4839 is our number. Or as always, head to livefargomorehead.com to learn about our Heroes discount, to see the houses that are currently on the market, or to find out about what's happening in this community, because we want to be that connecting point for you. Again, this is Erik Hatch with the Adams Development Corporation, thanking you for listening to Real Estate Radio this morning. You've been tuning into Real Estate Radio on the Mighty 790 KFGO. 'Cause I'm gonna make this